A little bit breezy today. I've had a lot of rain and windy days past week or so. I've not been able to run, but that's okay. Got some things I'm trying with this boat. It ran 103 miles an hour. It's my personal best with this boat, but I know there's a lot more in it. It's either I set it up to where the stinger angle is that much negative where it's running too wet and it won't release, won't get very good speed, or I've blown it off the water like too many times. So now I have the SMC 6S SRD lipos. They've been out of stock for a while. They finally came in. So these are the 6200 milliamp hour 250 seat discharge. So the lipos that I've been wanting to run on it. That also puts my CG farthest forward it's ever been, because they're the weight of them and they're shorter than the other ones I was running, so gets my CG a little more forward. I think that's part of my issue. And I'm not so sure these high rake props and catamarans get along so good. It's kind of what conclusion I've been coming to. It's just so touchy. When I get through the transition and go to full trigger, it's either on the water and running good and then just blows off so quick. So those settings, I haven't really found a setting with this boat where I can get the most out of the electronics. Does not feel like at all like I'm putting all the power to the water. So we'll just run it, see where I'm at with where I have my settings with these lipos, my center of gravity, the props that I'm running. So kind of like a low stress outing, you might say, where I'm not just gonna cut it loose and send it. It's gonna feel it out a little bit. So it should be fun. Just get it out there and see what we got. It's like a bit of a northeast breeze coming in from my right, from behind me. Set up the GPS, see what we're getting out of her. Zeroed out. Reading. Shouldn't have any worries overheating with these props. All right, let's check that speed. That wasn't full trigger. Get an idea what we got on that run right there. $88. Okay, go again. Get a nice long run, give it time to settle. All right, that was full trigger. Looked pretty well behaved. Nice solid run. $95. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll show you another old racer's trick that I did that I was also testing, because it just feels to me like this boat, at least this particular boat that I have, very sensitive to blowing off. So I put a air dam on it. It looks like I just chipped the corner off it on that run. Might have to remake that, but that just spoils air coming through the tunnel, right? Causes it to get a little turbulent and not pack so tight. And that felt to me like it really made a difference. So that's what I would call reading the boat, and I suppose making your adjustments according to what you're seeing. For me, my first catamaran, haven't been always so sure of what was my next adjustment that was needed, and at some point you got to trust your eyes. What are you seeing? And what it's been is a real fine line on this particular hull that I have here. I don't know that all of them are like this, all catamarans or even all animal cats, but it doesn't matter. But it felt like just too fine a line between too wet and blowing off. I've blown this boat off the water between 94 and 100 miles an hour too many times to count, probably more than a dozen times. And I can testify to how tough this is. This thing is a beast. It's an animal. It is tough. The only damage I've done to it is I did crack the right motor mount loose just on one side, on one blow off. Just this edge here, I had to re-epoxy it. It was still epoxied in tight here, down here just had a crack on there, and I popped this electronics tray loose. I've had to re-epoxy these pegs down here, and that has been the only damage. that I've sustained on this haul. She's a tough one. 122, 123, 102, 102, 87 and 86 on the lipo. So electronics are in good shape. These are the 4616 CNC machined props from Offshore Electrics. So 17-degree rake angle is what it looks to me like on these. So narrow thrust cone, and as I said earlier, I'm starting to think that the high rake props are very sensitive to tuning catamarans. I know with the riggers, guys I talked to on the Offshore Electrics forum, were 15 to 19-degree rake angle. They love a high rake angle prop because you just don't need a lot of lift in the back. You're not getting as much lift in the front, but to me this tunnel is just catching so much more air than a rigger. So part of my personal learning curve. So trying this air dam, it might be about a ½ inch high, not all the way across, not filling this whole gap, leaving about 1 inch to blow around either side. So just breaking up the air, it's packing in the tunnel. That looked like that stayed down very nicely. I eased her through the transition, but when I went to full trigger, she was running loose. Wasn't tight on the water, but it had no tendency. I didn't have any worry, any feeling like that was coming off the water. So we'll play with it some more, put a little more aggressive props on here. My stingers are set to straight edge across the bottom of the ride pads. The end of it here is down below at about a 32nd of an inch, not quite. So that's my tune, and we'll go from there. Animal cat, nice solid, well-behaved 95-mile-an-hour run. I will take that, take it home in one piece, no blow off, good looking run. Gives me some good positive thoughts for this boat moving forward. That run did. So I haven't posted a video for a while. I will say this, sometimes this hobby can be a little bit humbling, especially for me, my first catamaran. But one thing hasn't changed. I still love this boat. Very happy with the boat, very impressed with the design. I didn't post because mostly I was waiting on weather. We've had quite a bit of wind and rainy days here last couple weeks, but also just more of the same. So I did post a couple of my blow-offs. I think I got a 97 mile per hour and 100 mile per hour blow-off, and yes, I love the Animal Cat. It has held up to it, but I'm going through a learning curve here. Probably the most impressive thing about this boat to me is how tough it is. There is no question. You blow a boat off the water pushing 100 miles an hour, this thing is taking it like a champ. But we'll go forward with it from there. Yeah, it's just a 95 mile an hour run, but I got some stronger props to play with, and like I said, I might I might try a not as much of a high rake prop. Might have to order a couple more props, and we'll get out here and get after it. Like I said, it can be a bit humbling, but if you're going to post speed runs, they're not all going to be good. So that's where I'm at with Animal Cat, and we'll go from there. Here's a look on the bench at the air dam I put on the Animal Cat 2 in the tunnel. So this is made of 1/16 styrene. Got a 90-degree bend here and about a 30-degree bend here in the front, and I've sanded a sharp corner on it that takes up the thickness of the double-sided tape so the water doesn't catch in the front here. But it's got probably a little more than an inch on either side of the air dam for air to go around, and the location, this curves up, and right here is where the flat spot begins all the way back through the rest of the tunnel. So that's where I have it located.